Coming up tonight, Vice President Joe Biden visited campus today. We'll have a full recap of what he had to say.
Samantha Scholar is in studio to talk about this week's It's On Us campaign.
And students at the University of Missouri are protesting against racism on campus. We'll speak to a student there to learn more.
The news you need to know on CitrusTV News, live at 6.
From the CitrusTV studios, this is CitrusTV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Max Darrow.
And I'm Jessica Mendelson, and that is our top story tonight. Our own Max Darrow was at Vice President Joe Biden's speech in Goldstein Auditorium earlier today. Biden, an alum of the College of Law, was here to help promote the It's On Us campaign. There were over 1,000 people in the audience, including students, faculty, and local politicians. Max, tell us what happened at the event.
Well, thank you, Jessica. The Vice President is actually very passionate about spreading awareness to putting a stop to sexual violence. He stressed there needs to be a culture change on college campuses, and it's up to the students to make that happen.
We have to change the culture on campus and society as to what is acceptable. We have to change the standard of decency by which we measure ourselves. The standard by which we should measure ourselves is any time consent is not given or cannot be given. We understand, we make no mistake, we make no excuses. It is rape, or it is whatever the form of sexual assault is taken.
At some points, Biden was nearly shouting, others nearly whispering. But speaking candidly, his message was loud and clear.
No consent means no, whether you're conscious or unconscious. It means no.
Other elected officials spoke as well, including Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and Congressman John Katko. Here's what they had to say.
If enough of you raise your voice and speak out, we can change the world.
And I believe with all my heart that sexual assault should be handled just the way any other crime is handled. It shouldn't be swept under the rug. It shouldn't be kept away from people. It should be handled just like any other crime, be it an assault, be it anything else you do on campus. It's a crime. It's not some kind of social thing. It's a crime and should be treated as such.
The Vice President left students with a good note, confidence.
And I can't tell you how optimistic I'm about what you're going to be able to do. God bless you all, and may God protect the survivors. Thank you very much.
Somebody else who reflects that same message, student Samantha Scholar, is sitting down with Jessica to talk with us about her role with It's On Us. Jessica?
Thank you, Max. So now joining me in studio is Samantha Scholar, one of 17 students nationwide chosen to serve on the White House's It's On Us Student Advisory Board. Samantha, can you tell us your role on the board and what you do?
So my role on the board is being a student advisory committee member. There are 17 of us in the country, and I'm fortunate enough to represent Syracuse University. We're supposed to be It's On Us leaders and plan events for the Week of Action and communicate with our partners in DC.
So this week was the Week of Action. I know it took place in many schools across the country. What did we do here on Syracuse University campus this week?
So there was tabling and shine and on the quad the entire week, where we handed out pamphlets and information about consent and about sexual assault awareness. We screened the hunting ground on Tuesday night, followed by a panel discussion, so an open discussion and an open dialogue for students to be able to ask administrators the more difficult questions. Vice President Joe Biden came today. That was our biggest event, and then there's more tabling tomorrow, and there's a speaker tonight at 7, another survivor speaking.
So definitely a packed week for It's On Us.
Yeah.
So what does It's On Us mean to you?
It's On Us means to me, wow, that's a loaded question, but it's a really powerful message. I think the biggest thing is about spreading awareness and breaking the silence with issues around sexual assault on college campuses.
Great, so it was such an honor to see you introduce Joe Biden today, so congratulations on that, and thank you so much for being in studio with us. And if students want to find out more, you can go to itsonus.org.
The University of Missouri has been experiencing protests for several days. Yesterday, it spread closer to home when Ithaca College students walked out of classes. Today, students at Syracuse University heard those voices and decided to do something for racial equality themselves. Citrus TV News' Gabriella Rusk has more on how important this is to Syracuse students.
Right after Vice President Joe Biden made his remarks for the It's On Us campaign, students came to the Shine Student Center to stand in solidarity for the racial issues at the University of Missouri. SU at Mizzou, the answer to Mizzou's nationwide call to action. Starting on the quad, students filed into the Shine atrium.
We're in solidarity with them because we realize that this could happen at SU as well.
It's not a protest, it's a solidarity movement. We need to make sure that people have values at mind, and we want to protect those values as one.
Several students made passionate speeches. One student is Devon Williams, who was overcome with emotion when the demonstration ended.
I just want to say that anyone can be involved in solidarity. There's not a picture-perfect frame of who fits in solidarity. It takes everyone.
Students reassured us that this date of activism did not intentionally follow the Vice President's speech. Reporting from the Shine Student Center, Gabriella Rusk, Citrus TV.
And we have one student at the University of Missouri on the phone with us to tell us what the atmosphere is like there.
Well, right now we are joined with a student from the University of Missouri to talk to us about what is going on in campus right now. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure.
So can you tell us a little about what is the feel on campus right now?
Everyone is pretty frantic, I guess, from the threats that were made on Tuesday night. Before that, it was just chaotic with all the protesting going on, but none of the protests was necessarily violent, and a lot of people understood where it was coming from for the most part, but there were definitely some people who weren't as understanding. But once Tim Wolf did resign on Monday, overall the campus climate was fairly positive, and then the threats happened and people kind of had a reason to worry.
Great. Now, can you tell us what has gone on the past few weeks or the past month to get us to this point right now?
Yes, Mizzou has a long history of racism on the campus. I know in last year and other previous years, we had the Gaines Oldham Black Culture Center. In a previous year, I don't think I was on campus, cotton balls were actually glued and placed on the lawn of the Black Culture Center. And then in my previous year here, actually the Black Culture Center was threatened to be bombed on Yik Yak, which seems to be where a lot of tension goes on with racial issues. And then the N-word is thrown around a lot on this campus, I think more than a lot of people would like to think. Our student body president was actually called this when he was walking around near campus one day, and he posted on Facebook saying, why is my existence so threatening to people? And his story went viral. I mean, it made national news what happened to him. And shortly after that, another group on campus, the Legion of Black Collegians, were rehearsing for something, and the word was yelled at them as well.
So certainly a lot has been going on so far to lead up to this point, and you've identified yourself as an ally to these students. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
What that basically means is I support the changes that Concerned Student 1950 wants to make. I don't think that a lot of the changes and demands that they would like instilled are a lot to ask for. And when they were, camping out on the quad, I gave them a tent. I always asked if there was anything I could do for them. I always tried to, not speak for them, but just speak as an ally and support what they were doing.
Well, it's certainly great to have talked to you today. We really appreciate you being on with us, considering the circumstances that are going on in your campus, and we hope that all goes well with you.
Yes, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
And in other campus news, an email to students last night says that police have arrested the person behind an alarming Yik Yak post. The person arrested is a former SU student who lives in the Syracuse area. An SU student called DPS on October 28th after seeing the post. Officials were able to work with Yik Yak to track down the poster. And at least 750 students and supporters gathered at Ithaca College yesterday in protests demanding the resignation of college president Tom Rochon. The protests are in response to incidents of cultural insensitivity that have made students of color feel unsafe and excluded. Students used the term "no confidence" when addressing the president and featured a die-in to garner attention. The same day, Rochon announced the hiring of a chief diversity officer.
And coming up next on Citrus TV News Live at 6, what's happening around the nation and around the world.
We experienced strong winds here in central New York. The average wind gust today was about 21 miles per hour. So those winds combined with the rain behind me begs the question, is winter coming? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. Your full weather forecast is coming up after this.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does. And like that, you're a job creator.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
An immigrant woman who has spent over a year living in a Tucson church has been granted permission to stay in the U.S.
Rosa Robles Loreto is just one of many immigrants who has sought refuge in the church after facing deportation proceedings.
Robles Loreto has gained widespread support amongst Tucson residents who have put up thousands of anti-deportation signs around the town.
And switching to international news, Kurdish forces in Iraq have retaken a key highway from ISIS in an attempt to kick the terrorist group out of the city of Sinjar.
By taking the highway, it cuts the supply line from Syria into Iraq's biggest city. According to reports, more than 7,500 Kurdish fighters were involved in the attack.
ISIS took over Sinjar last year, enslaving the Yazidi people living there. And researchers say they may have found evidence of an undiscovered tomb in the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Scanning techniques revealed there's a hidden passageway that previously went undetected.
3 other Giza pyramids also showed the same anomaly when scanned.
And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Britain this week. He'll be addressing supporters in an effort to bounce back from an election loss and reassert himself on the global stage.
The two nations could also announce deals worth $8 to $12 billion during the visit.
Almost 25,000 people participated in protests across Athens, Greece in response to tax hikes and spending cuts.
These are the first major protests since the new left-leaning government took control in January. Youth broke away from the crowds to throw Molotov cocktails at police, who answered with stun grenades and tear gas.
Although peace was restored within the hour, the 24-hour protest as a whole shut down and delayed public transportation and buildings.
The FIFA Electoral Committee announced that 5 out of 7 candidates for president have passed an internal ethics review.
The 5 candidates are now set to run in the election to replace Sepp Blatter in February. The committee denied an official from Liberia based on problems with an integrity report.
They also denied Michel Platini, who submitted his paperwork only hours before FIFA suspended him last month. The former FIFA president resigned after corrupt allegations.
And coming up on Citrus TV News, Jamie Weiss is in studio with your full weather forecast.
Plus, we'll take a look at today's top consumer and entertainment stories after the break.
The Orange are back in the Dome Saturday, November 14th, looking to disrupt Clemson's hopes of a national championship. The unbeaten Tigers sit atop the college football playoff rankings. Come help us honor the military on Stars and Stripes Day, presented by the Air National Guard. The first 10,000 fans at the game will receive a patriotic window cling. Tickets are available at the Carrier Dome box office, Cuse.com, and 1-888-DOME-TICKS. Another season of Orange basketball excitement will be here soon. Wisconsin, North Carolina, Notre Dame, and Pittsburgh are all due in the Dome. Will you be there when this happens? One, let's it go, hits! Will you be there when Dish happens? Will you be there when Swish happens? And Coach Q wants you there as well, as the women's team looks for its 4th straight NCAA tournament berth. Season tickets are on sale now at the Carrier Dome box office, Cuse.com, and 1-888-DOME-TICKS.
Well, you know, yesterday we saw some mist and rain, and today we've even seen a lot of wind. Jamie, tell us what our full weather forecast will look like.
Well, Max, you're right. We saw a lot of wind earlier today. Those wind gusts were averaging about 21 miles per hour. And with that wind has come some more precipitation. It's currently 51 degrees outside with moderate rain showers, and we're not the only ones experiencing breezy skies. If you look around the Midwest and Great Lakes area, you can see cities like Minneapolis, Chicago, Cincinnati, all experiencing wind gusts anywhere from 17 to 22 miles per hour. Switching over to our surface map, we can see this wind is caused by the low pressure system, the epicenter right here over Lake Michigan. These eastward winds are bringing central New York a lot of precipitation in the next 24 hours. And maybe even a little bit of frost. Tonight, expect scattered showers with a high of 45 degrees, and when we wake up tomorrow, we can expect a slight break in the rain until the afternoon when a second wave of storms comes through Syracuse. Now, are you concerned about the big game? Don't be. Temperatures will be chilly with a high of only 41, but no precipitation is expected during the game time. However, a slight chance of freezing rain or light snow when the game ends. Looking into the rest of the weekend, your Citrus TV meteorologists are predicting cloudy but clear skies on Sunday and yet again on Monday. This will be the 3rd week in a row that we're experiencing great weather on Monday after a not so great weekend.
So there's a lot going on this weekend, Jamie. Can you give us a quick wrap of what that's going to be like?
Pretty much we're going to experience rain tonight, tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit of mistiness, a little bit of freezing rain after the game on Saturday, and then should be back to sunny, back to cloudy by Monday morning.
So how about any snow before Thanksgiving break?
Well, we're experiencing maybe a little light dusting Saturday night after the game, but my prediction is we might have maybe just a dusting before Thanksgiving. The full snow won't come until after.
Great, Jamie. Thank you so much. Well, Apple may soon venture into a new aspect of customers' lives. The company is looking into a person-to-person payment system that would let users pay each other via their iPhones. The system would be similar to Venmo and PayPal. The talks with banks come less than a month after the company released Apple Pay, its mobile payment service. The new service could be ready as early as next year. And T-Mobile will allow customers unlimited streaming of videos from certain providers, despite their data plan. But the announcement will test FCC rules. That's because new net neutrality rules by the FCC prevent allowing one content carrier to get preferential treatment over another. The 24 video streaming services allowed by T-Mobile, including Netflix and Hulu, could test this law.
A judge shook off a lawsuit against Taylor Swift, but not without quoting many of her songs. Swift was being sued by Jesse Bram, who claimed that 92% of Swift's song Shake It Off was plagiarized from his song Haters Gonna Hate. The judge referenced songs like Blank Space and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together in her dismissal. And now we'll go to Andrew Morris with your Sportscast.
Thanks, Max. Coming up in sports, both Joe Biden and Congressman John Katko weigh in on Syracuse's football game against Clemson, so we'll show you those predictions. And possibly the best women's basketball team in Syracuse history. Will they start their season tomorrow? What you need to know for that and more. Stick around.
If you see news happening on campus in Syracuse or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom 315-443-1177 or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Clemson's coming to visit Saturday. And I promised them I'd be wearing orange, Northern Syracuse orange. Guys, lay your hearts out, man. I tell you what, I'm looking for an upset. I'm looking for an upset.
So this Saturday, when you play #1 ranked Clemson and no one's giving us a chance, you get up there and you yell as loud as you can, because you know what? The impossible is possible, and we're going to beat Clemson on Saturday.
Lofty predictions from those political higher-ups there. An upset of the top-ranked Tigers by the Orange on Saturday. Now our own Andrew Miller looks in on the #1 team in the country's trip to the Hill.
I can't give you guts, and I can't give you heart. And tonight, hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
That was Clemson coach Dabo Swinney following a huge win at home versus Notre Dame. Now the Tigers are 8-0 and #1 in the country.
Oh, definitely major underdogs, as we know, and that's why you play the game. And it'll be a great opportunity for, you know, our older kids to play against #1 team in the country, and all the young kids that have been playing a lot of football for us, a chance to, see what this team's like and a chance to compete.
The defense will definitely get their chance to compete. They face one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Deshaun Watson, who leads the conference in passing yards.
When I think of a spread offense, I think that's when I think of is Clemson. Tempo, a lot of zone read action, a lot of bubble screens, but also with the ability to take shots down the field. They have a really good offense, and it's going to be a lot on our plate this weekend. But I like our game plan to slow them down this weekend.
Cuse will try and defeat a #1 team for the first time since 1984, when the Orange toppled Nebraska at home in the Carrier Dome. Andrew Miller, Citrus TV.
And funny enough, Syracuse already beat Clemson this week, but in a different sport on the pitch, SU men's soccer earned a trip to its first ever ACC tournament final since joining the conference a few years back with a 2-0 victory over the Tigers last night. Junior Ben Polk, man, what a story he's been, transferring from Herkimer Community College this year, put in both goals for the Orange in the 21st and 58th minutes to take down the #2 ranked team in the country. The ACC championship game will now feature Syracuse as they travel to South Bend to face off against Notre Dame on Sunday. And just as they get into postseason play, women's basketball is looking forward to starting their regular season tomorrow night at Rhode Island. As the last few seasons have shown us, the Orange have plenty to look forward to. SU ended last year with its third straight trip to the NCAA tournament, a program first. On top of that, Syracuse has all 5 starters returning from last year, as well as 2013-2014 All-ACC honoree Brittany Sykes, who's back from injury. Also, with an experienced coach like Quentin Hillsman, who's starting his 10th year as head coach. Don't be worried about a first-game loss. So far, he's 8-1 in season openers. Now, all of Syracuse's outdoor sports wrapping up here before winter, including the cross-country squads. If you want to talk dominance, look no further than this men's team. SU is number 2 in the country, and they head into the NCAA regionals coming off its 6th conference title in 7 years. Both teams have great chances to do well tomorrow, as both Orange teams finished in the top 5 last year at the event. And in case you wanted to hear about another team on the hill with high playoff aspirations, the Syracuse Volleyball team has got your back. SU has a tough weekend ahead in North Carolina, starting tomorrow with Duke. Now, the Blue Devils have won all 4 previous games played against the Orange and could tie Syracuse for 6th in the ACC with a win. After this weekend, Syracuse has just 4 critical games left in the season, with the last 2 being played at home.
So, Andrew, realistically, 1, do we have a shot at beating Clemson this weekend? And 2, what does Syracuse need to do to win?
Well, I'll tell you, almost no shot. I mean, if you're Syracuse, you pray for a miracle because you don't have your starting quarterback. He got knocked out last week with a concussion. Syracuse doesn't have much to play for. They're already pretty much knocked out of a bowl game. And Clemson has a national title game still on the line, so they have a lot to play for.
All right, well, we'll try to stay positive as we go into this weekend. When we come back, we'll take one last look at your weather for tomorrow morning.
We'll be right back.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
If you want more of Citrus TV, make sure to stay tuned on OTN after news at 6. Up next, catch all the highlights of every SU sport with On the Bench.
After that, get your entertainment news fix with Orange Zest.
And don't forget our political talk show, Talking Points, is live at 7:30.
Citrus TV is always on OTN through 8 p.m. following news live at 6.
So, Jamie, it's gonna rain. Am I bringing my umbrella with me?
Definitely bring your umbrella, maybe a poncho if you have it.
Great.
Jamie, thanks so much. That's all the time we have tonight. Make sure to check us out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and our website, CitrusTV.net.
And don't forget, Talking Points will be live tonight at 7:30. I'm Jessica Mendelson.
And I'm Max Darrow. Have a great evening, Syracuse.